Good morning, folks, and welcome back to a new vlog and a very beautiful Saturday morning. Today is an off Saturday after a very long time, as usual, and I am having my leisurely breakfast of milk, and my egg is boiling away as usual. So I thought that this vlog I want to discuss about what are certain things that are non-negotiable in my diet and my routine exercise, because I get a lot of questions, especially about my age versus the way I look. And I don't want to sound patronizing, but it's a fact that I do look younger than my age. I'm 45, and people usually, evaluate my age to maybe 30, 32, which is pretty much a decade less than what I actually am. And of course, it feels good when somebody thinks you're younger than your age. But yeah, a lot of people question me how. So, first of all, it's not genes, it's certainly not genes, but yeah, it's the lifestyle that I follow. More than food and exercise, it's just my inherent nature. I'm young at heart. I hate to look old. I hate to feel old. I do things which are actually restricted at my age at 45, with the bone marrow kind of slowly depleting. But I like to keep myself fit through exercises. So I thought that let's discuss what I actually do and what all things I'm mindful of at my age, because once you cross 40s, all sorts of things start happening to you. uh, Primarily as a lady, as a female, menopause starts to set in. So I am in my obviously perimenopausal phase for the past 5 years now. So obviously I have my physical and mental problems that come with a menopausal stage. So I realize obviously it happens suddenly, so you are taken unawares. And unfortunately, when I set into my 40, it was COVID, and that was 2020 when I turned 40. And it was the most depressing time of my life, because I was basically in my work traveling a lot till my 40s. My 40s started, and suddenly I was locked into a room. I'm alone. I can't meet anyone, I can't talk to anyone. And that's when my entire journey of self reformation and all of these other things. I read a lot, because I had a lot of time at home. I read a lot of things. I watched a lot of videos during that time, and slowly I started to get into that, dietary and lifestyle reformation phase. So I thought I'll share with you what I do to keep up with my physical and mental, limitations in my 40s, and how I stay so young. Okay, so diet wise, I have been following a very like standard routine. It gets disrupted off and on if I'm traveling um, to meet family or for work. But in a week, I ensure that I have milk at least once in a day, either morning, evening. I always ensure that I have a boiled egg in a day. But if I can't have boiled egg, then I try to, compensate it with some other source of protein like dal or any other protein, any other kind of vegetable protein. But my problem is I'm not able to digest vegetable protein very easily. It kind of bloats me up. So I have resorted to animal protein. So I take milk, I take boiled egg, because boiled egg is considered to be the best source of all kinds of amino acids that you need for your body. So 1 or 2 eggs in a day is perfect to give you the right amount of amino acids. I'm no expert in diet and nutrition, but this is what I have understood from all the books and other articles and videos that I've seen. So milk and eggs is non-negotiable. Then yeah, for normal routine food, obviously I follow a balanced diet. I try to include at least 5 fruits in my diet in a week, of which banana, apple, and oranges are usually the common thing in a week, because they are easily available throughout the year. But I try to add other fruits also. I In seasonal fruits, like I add grapes to my diet. I add pomegranates whenever they are available, good ones. I add well, dragon fruit. Recently, I've started dragon fruit, but I'm not very fond of that kind of sour taste, so I avoid. But I do try to add it once. I add, of course, strawberries in my diet, chiku, watermelon, muskmelon, mangoes, of course, needless to say. But I'm not able to digest all mangoes as well, because also they make you bloat a lot. It produces a lot of gas. So I avoid too much mango. I eat maybe one mango in a day, or make a mango juice or something out of it. So yeah, at least 5 fruits in a week is a must, non-negotiable. Whichever seasonal fruit is available, I have. Whether I like the taste or I don't like the taste, I eat it. So that, vegetables wise, I am since childhood very restricted to very few vegetables that I like. So I like cabbage, I like cauliflower, I like brinjal to some extent, made in a certain way, cooked in a certain way. I like them. I like bottle gourd, Loki as we call it here in India, and I like carrots, of course. I like potatoes, onions are like fillers in every veggie that I eat. Sweet peas I love in any form, and yeah, green leafy vegetables. I am guilty of having very less, which should be eaten more. But yeah, lately, since the past 1.5 years, I've started to include green leafy vegetables also. Majorly methi, fenugreek, palak, and then there are some other kinds that are available which I don't know how to eat, but I order if I want to include those in my diet. So I have a few places where they make really healthy, fresh, meals, salads specifically. I order from there. So coming to salads, I have included salads in my diet very strictly since the past 1 year. Any kind of salad I make. I make maybe, well, cucumber only, or onion and tomato, or sometimes I very rarely I include sprouts. I am not at all fond of sprouts. I don't know, a lot of people advise that we should eat sprouts, and people like also, but no matter how much I try, I'm not able to like sprouts. The taste of it just turns me off. But yeah, sometimes I eat it as a medicine, because it's very good again for your body, sprouts. So yeah, I eat, well, um, all kinds of sprouts, and I'm just listing them here. These are the kind of sprouts that I have in my diet. I'm also very fond of smoothies. You must have seen me making different kinds of smoothies all the time on my channel. Yeah, so actually, I make smoothies because I'm not very fond of eating fruits raw. I don't know why, but I prefer them in smoothies or milkshakes or juices. But they say that you should avoid juices and all, because that kind of kills the effect of the nutrients. It's better to have the fruits whole. So I have slowly started including fruits in my midday, hunger pangs. I eat those fruits. So you can see I have oranges, I have banana, and there are some strawberries in there, apple, as I said earlier. So I've included whole fruits, like I said, in my diet. And yeah, smoothies is something I love to have. I mix two fruits in any smoothie. Obviously, yogurt is always there, as in curd is always there. Milk is there. I add honey for sweetening. Very rarely I add sugar if I feel like honey might not give me that satisfaction. But I have started to curtail sugar out of my diet a lot. But I think I might be I might be cheating a lot if I say I have removed it completely. I'm lying because I still have a lot of pastries. But yeah, whenever I have a pastry, the understanding is with myself. I have to do a workout. So but I have pastry, so it's other ways. Either ways, if I cheat and have a pastry on the previous day, I have to do a good workout the next day. Or if I do a workout, very well workout in a day, then I can have a small pastry. So I am at least that much disciplined now with regards to having cakes and pastries because they are very harmful. They are loaded with sugar and all unhealthy ingredients. So I have started to cut it. And you know what? Sugar causes aging, faster aging. It brings wrinkles to your face. It's just not good for you in any way. Only in moderation you should eat it. And jaggery is always much preferred over sugar. So I have started to sort of stop eating sugar as well. Other than that, diet wise, I have started to include a lot of supplements in my diet. So, um, because my doctor advised me, because I have a autoimmune disorder because of which I cannot go out in the sun too much, and I have to apply sunscreen even when I am at home. So I am extremely sensitive to ultraviolet rays. Even a little bit is not good for me, is what I've been told. So medication is obviously going on, but yeah, so obviously since I'm not going out in sunlight, I have to replenish my vitamins accordingly. So I do take calcium supplements because vitamin D I'm not getting, and without vitamin D you cannot, have calcium in your body, be generated in your body. So I have to take calcium supplements. That is advised to me. But other than that, I also take biotin supplements because with age and also because of medicines that I take, my hair has started to become extremely dry. I also have thyroid, which is a genetic, inherited disorder. So, and also from the place that I come from Gujarat. That is iron deficiency was very common there. So this thyroid has become part of our generational inheritance in terms of diseases. So yeah, so because of that, all these things they lead to dryness of hair, dryness of skin. So I drink a lot of water. Like I drink a lot of water in a day. I have a bottle and a glass next to my work desk, and I keep having water all the time. Uh, to keep myself hydrated. And like I said, I'm taking biotin supplements. So I'll show you. I think I must have shown you sometime during my other videos. So these are the biotin supplements I'm taking, HK Vitals gummies. Before this, I used to take those tablets that you have to put in the water and kind of dissolves, and then you drink that. So, but I didn't like that much. So I felt like I would go for gummies. They are nice and chewy, strawberry flavor. So I take that. And also for omega, so omega supplements are very good for your, uh, you know, body, for your health, for heart health specifically, memory and concentration, and overall, your blood sugar control and cholesterol control. So we usually these are available in sea food, so fishes and all. So I don't like fishes. I can eat chicken. I'm okay with chicken, but seafood I'm not able to have. So these supplements are good. So I eat this. I consume this Alaska deep sea fish oil, omega 3 supplements. You have to take one in a day. It's like this kind of transparent capsules, which has the like content in it. So I have one of this. It is freaking expensive. I'll tell you what is the price of this. This is 1,000 rupees for. 1000 milligrams. Yeah, it's from US. It's not manufactured here. So I'm taking these supplements, and I'm also taking vitamin supplements, but I'm not taking those unprescribed. Whatever my doctor prescribes to me, I take them as my vitamin supplements, because I don't know, like, supplements are something you should always take as per prescription instead of just taking them as per your wish. So yeah, vitamin supplements is something I'm taking, and omega supplement and biotin supplement. These are all the things that I'm taking to keep myself going, and work on whatever is a deficiency in my body. And other than that, of course, rice and wheat are a routine staple for us in our diet. But I have reduced that because rice and wheat are heavy on your body because of the carbohydrates. And if you don't have a very, like, you can say, active lifestyle, you should not consume too much of wheat and rice, is what I understand from what I have read. Because when you're sitting all day doing work, it kind of starts, collecting in your belly. And I did start getting a wheat belly last year. Like, it's still there, it's not completely gone, but because of the workout and other things, it has kind of flattened out, but not completely. But yeah, I mean, if you don't have a very active lifestyle, you're not running around all day, I think it doesn't make sense to eat too much wheat and rice. So you're not going to burn those carbs. So it's best to avoid. So I am avoiding it. I eat only maybe two chapatis in a day, and some rice only once in a week. Rest of the time, I am eating some of the other vegetables. But yeah, I cannot completely avoid wheat. I eat chapati twice a day. Yeah, twice a day I eat chapatis only. Sometimes during the week also make rice, but most of the times I resort to some other kind of uh, food that doesn't really involve too much rice and wheat. And then for vitamin C, obviously, tomatoes are non-negotiable, and any other leafy vegetable which has vitamin C, spices, our routine spices, turmeric and red chili powder, bell peppers. I eat a lot of green bell peppers. I'm not very fond of the red and yellow bell peppers, but green I definitely have in sandwiches and in veggies also. For vitamin C, lemonade. I take a lot of lemonade in the afternoon time because it's super hot here. Like in 35 degrees, 36 degrees, kind of drains you. So I definitely have a glass of lemonade without any sugar as far as possible. I had honey to it, and I add a little bit of salt for taste to balance out the sourness of the lemon. And I have it during the afternoon time to just rejuvenate myself. Yeah, so I mean, you must have seen, like, in my blogs, that when I go grocery shopping, I try to buy vegetables of different colors, because they say that you should include vegetables and fruits of different colors in your diet. So if you see my shopping, when I go for vegetable shopping, I have green color, purple color, orange, yellow, pink, and of course green, all these colors, and it looks very pleasing to the eye also, and it makes you want to sort of eat it. I would say I have reduced potato a lot in my diet, uh, because I don't know, anything that has carbs in it kind of makes me bloat a lot, or even vegetable proteins. So I have, or if I want to have, I usually have it in the afternoon, so that there's enough time for it to get digested. Because if I have these things in the evening, and the dinner is usually very delayed after 9:30 or quarter 10, I just cannot sleep because it just bloats me up so much. So I avoid eating these kind of things in evening or in dinner. Yeah, and lastly, I try to keep a mix of vegetables in my veggies also. So I don't like make only potato or only peas or only carrots, something like. I like to mix the vegetables. So either it is onion, potato, tomato, it is sweet peas, tomato, potato, or it is let's say cauliflower and carrots with tomato and onion. I like to mix the veggies and cook my food because I feel like that will balance out, the vitamins and minerals that we need. So yeah, I like to mix the vegetables. So I guess it pretty much sums up what I have in my diet, and this is non-negotiable. I still have to improve on my consumption of green leafy vegetables. It's just that I'm not very good at making recipes of green leafy vegetables, but I'm trying. I'm trying my level best. But yeah, this pretty much sums up my dietary non-negotiable items. And I know I think it pretty much covered everything. But that's what I'm saying. That's how I balance my diet, and that's how I stay fit. And apart from eating healthy, I am also following a very strict uh, workout or exercise routine. Uh, so I'm a lazy person, to be very honest. Though my videos and shorts might be speaking otherwise, but I'm an extremely lazy person when it comes to exercising. I hate to exercise. If you tell me, Dhruti, you can sleep all day, I will sleep all day. Just for the record. So don't get confused by what I show versus what I am. But yeah, that's the whole idea, right? That's the whole thing, that I, being a very lazy person, hate to exercise. I have disciplined myself since I turned 40, and I went into a very depressing state during the COVID times. I exercising, yoga, all of that brought me out and helped me remain stable during those days when I had no one to talk to, and all day I was just looking at a laptop and working with not a single soul outside, no vehicles moving outside. That was the most traumatizing experience for me, and that kind of got me into regular exercising and regular yoga. So I think you've seen ample of videos of me doing. I do all kinds of exercise. I'm not very restricted to only yoga. I do dance workouts. I love dancing. Dancing is something in my blood. I mean, inherited from my mother, my maternal family, basically. So I love all kinds of dances. I love to do traditional dances, as in Bharatnatyam or any other traditional uh, art form. I love to do Bollywood. I love to do salsa. I've tried a few salsa steps also, very unsuccessfully though. I love to do tango. I love to do Zumba. You tell me. I love to do all kinds of dances. I love music in general. So I just put down any music, and I can do Western dance on a classical music. I can do classical dance on a Western music. You tell me. So yeah, dance workout is my favorite workout. I obviously also love to do aerobics a lot. Aerobics and dance together is my favorite combination. So I do some aerobic steps and some dance steps. I love to do that as well. Yoga. I mean, my morning stretches. I'm sorry. Yeah, my morning stretches are non-negotiable. Even if I can't do a workout, I have to do 5 minutes stretches every morning, and there are a few stretches that I'm usually doing regularly without fail for my arms, for my legs, my back, my neck. Because when you are sleeping all night, you are not very aware about your posture, and sometimes you end up getting weird aches and pains in your body when you wake up because you might have slept in a wrong position in the night. So to kind of relax all those muscles, 5 minute stretch is non-negotiable. So that is something I do follow. And of course, yoga. I have enrolled myself in a yoga class, Havel Yoga, for the past year. I think now it's been a year. I don't know. Um, so yeah, I have enrolled myself, and I follow them. They have morning classes, evening classes. So he makes us do very good different variations of exercises for different muscles and different like health problems also, and of course different breathing exercises. So one thing that I've started doing regularly, and this is because I've been advised to do that to ensure that my lungs are functioning normally, are breathing exercises. So there are three pranayamas that I do regularly. Number one is the Bhastrika pranayama. I have some details of these pranayamas just to give you an understanding why you should do this, and it's very good. So I, as you know, if you have known me for some time, I am a chronic, you can say rhinitis problem. I am always sneezing. I'm very sensitive to dust and change of weather and change of temperature. Even if I go from one room to other, if there's a temperature difference, I will sneeze. When I wake up in the morning, I sneeze. I always have, you can see, I always have snuffles. I keep doing this to, have the mucus go inside. So Bastrika is one pranayama that can help me remove the excess phlegm from the lungs, keep the respiratory and digestive system healthy, oxygenates the blood, provides energy, and calms your mind. So these are the things that are the overall benefits of Bhastrika. You can check out Bhastrika on YouTube. It's very good. Another thing that I do is Kapal Bhati. Kapal Bhati is a fabulous pranayama. It's difficult to do. It kind of stresses you out when you do that. Kapal Bhati is a very good, pranayama for if you have, bloating problems, gas problems, constipation problems, all of which I have, and they are all medicine induced because of heavy medications and an unhealthy lifestyle, like delayed dinners and irregular lunches and skipping breakfast. I usually get all kinds of digestive problems. It is also very good if you have fissures and piles, I think hemorrhoids. It helps you with that as well. It also helps to cure thyroid problem. So these are the benefits of Kapal Bhati. Even if you do it 5 minutes in a day is good. It really helps to help control your uh, these kind of physical problems. And then the third one, which is non-negotiable, is especially now since COVID, is Nadi Shodhan or Anulom Vilom Pranayam. It is so good to de-stress yourself. Trust me, whenever I am stressed out in the day, either it is in the middle of the day or it is the end of the day, I just do this for 5 minutes and I'm calm. So Nadi Shodhan Pranayam, like you have to put your finger like so, and you have to breathe in from one nostril, breathe out from the other. So it improves concentration, focus, and patience. It relieves your stress and anxiety. It improves your brain, respiratory, and cardiovascular health. Improves overall sense of well-being. Lowers your blood pressure and slows down your heartbeat. So you can see, right? Just breathing this way can sort of prevent you from getting stressed and reduce your anxiety and bring you back under control. So these three pranayamas have become non-negotiable in my daily life. Other than that, I also do Brahmari sometimes. You know what Brahmari is like. You just close your ear and put your fingers here, and then you just have to make a humming sound. So that kind of helps to de-stress as well. So there are a lot of other benefits of Brahmari which you can check out. So I do this a lot. Then there was one more pranayama which I've seen Baba Ramdev showing, where I don't remember the name of it, but you have to breathe in, hold yourself here, then twist the intestines in your stomach like that, and then sort of release your breath to help your thyroid function, something like that. I don't remember the name. I'll check it out, but that also I have tried sometimes in order to improve my overall health and well-being. Other than breathing, I also, for anxiety control and gaining back my stability, I do a lot of calming exercises or other calming postures. I do the bird posture with standing on one leg, something like this. Then I do the Bharatasan posture, again standing on one leg. And then I do the Bharatanatyam posture, so just to bring strength in my legs. a lot of other calming postures where I'm just standing still, uh, focused only on one part of my body where all the weight is falling, and you have just no time to think anything else but to ensure that you don't fall down, standing on one leg mostly. That kind of postures really restores my entire you know control on my body and my calmness. And I love to do this at the end of the day because that is the time when I'm mostly super stressed out. So one round of breathing exercises and followed by these calming postures, it kind of brings me back to life, and then I can switch back to my evening routine of cooking and cleaning and whatever. So that's about it, which I've been doing all this while for the past few years. But lately, not lately, I have come across another form of exercising or gymnastics, it is called, or is it called? They call it the Chinese pearls. So I saw a lot of videos on Instagram being posted lately about the Chinese way of gymnastics and how they do these Chinese pearls. So Chinese pearls, hold on, I have a documentary about that. One sec. Okay, I couldn't find the documentary, but I just searched what are Chinese pearls. So Chinese pearl exercises likely refers to a specific style of Qigong, a traditional Chinese exercise practice where the movements are described as being smooth and flowing, like a string of pearls, symbolizing the cultivation of the internal energy Qi, or is it called Kai? I don't know. Within the body, considered precious and valuable like pearls in Chinese culture. Um, Pearls are often associated with purity, beauty, and value in Chinese culture, mirroring the goal of Qigong to achieve inner harmony and well being. The movement quality, the flowing, coordinated movements of some Qigong styles are compared to the smooth transition between pearls on a string. And some Qigong routines, like Temple Qigong, might explicitly use the pearl imagery in their postures names, such as Dragon releases pearls. Anyway, so I think what I have understood is it's all about how a string of pearls flows when you do uh, like move them around the string. So it's a continuous movement, graceful movement, and that's what these Chinese pearl exercises are about: continuous movement in a certain direction, in a certain form. And trust me, when I did it, I just felt so rejuvenated. And they have exercises for pretty much everything. So I am exploring more of these exercises so that I can also take advantage of that. They are very good to maintain your physique, your form, your overall health, your well-being. It also improves your skin, is what I've heard. So I want to try out the Chinese pose. I've done it once or twice. As of now, I tried different variations, and I think I've loved it so far. So I think I'm gonna focus on that as well in this year. So that pretty much sums up my, non-negotiable dietary inclusions and exercise routine. Of course, I'm not limited to these things. I'm always constantly experimenting. I'm learning from experts online about nutrition and health benefits of different kinds of foods and exercises, and I'm trying to include them to the best of my abilities basis the time I have. um, but what matters to me is striking a balance, striking a understanding with myself that this is what I can do instead of overdoing things. So otherwise, it makes you stressed when you feel that, oh, I have to include this, I have to include that. I didn't use this vitamin, I didn't eat that vitamin. I go crazy. Then it becomes more stressful than relaxing. So I just do it when I like and feel like doing it. I don't force anything on myself. If I feel sometimes in the morning that I'm lazy today and I don't want to exercise, I let myself sleep. But I ensure that I do exercise after I get up, whenever I get up. The 5 minute stretch routine I always follow, sometimes even in my bathroom. uh, and if I have forgotten, because I don't do exercise after taking a bath. It's messy. So I'm sure that I exercise before the bath, and also if I missed it in the morning, then I do it in the evening and then take a bath. So exercise is a must. uh, and then of course including different kinds of foods in my routine. I'm trying to avoid outside food altogether as much as possible, but Saturdays are my cheat days, and I like to give myself, because I look forward to it. It's like a trophy for being disciplined. It's like a reward for being disciplined throughout the week. So anyway, this is all about it that I wanted to share with you, why and how I am so healthy. And I'm not healthy. I have diseases, but yeah, despite of diseases, I stay fit, and this is the reason why. So I hope this information is helpful for you, and if you are doing something which is helping you in some way, please do mention it in the comment down below. I would love to follow that as well. And if you did like this video, please do hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and please do subscribe. I will see you again in the next video next week, guys. Until then, stay happy, have fun, stay healthy. Bye bye.